Welcome back. Today we're reading Chapter 2. The Fiery Foe. So glad you could join me today. Where is that Chapter 2? Oh, there it is. Here we go. Maze of Rocks. Down a zigzagging, foot-wide crack in the floor, the glowing liquid sped. As it raced along, it splattered blobs of lava onto the rocky floor, where they hissed angrily and menacingly. "You were right," agreed Alec. "This is an active volcanic zone." But how?" stammered Cindy, still clutching chunks of the giant mushroom. "Do we escape?" With the advantage of his height, Lars could see that the fiery liquid extended completely across the path they had just taken. "Yeah, we can escape," he promised. "But not by going back. We go ahead." "Just as well," Lindenbrook agreed, trying to keep his voice light. "The way to the Golden People certainly isn't behind us. It's far down beneath us." Cindy quickly stuffed the mushroom chunks into her pack, and they hurried away from the glowing liquid, now simmering in the crack less than 100 feet behind them. "What if more lava spills over?" Cindy wondered. "Why do girls always think of the worst possibilities?" Alec said, as he hurried her on. "There was no lava in the crack when we crossed it. It probably fills and empties from time to time." "Yeah, but we not stay around to find out if your nice theory is right," urged Big Lars. Soon the tunnel they had entered widened into a vast chamber with a maze of huge boulders. "Gosh!" exclaimed Cindy when she saw the bewildering twists and turns of the rock maze ahead. "If we don't see another trail sign of Arnie Saknussemm, we'll never find our way." "I'm beginning to wonder about that last sign," the professor muttered in a low voice. "You mean the Count," exclaimed Cindy. "Exactly," nodded Lindenbrook. "I think he deliberately misled us with a false trail sign." "Not much we can do about that," said Alec. "We can't go back, but how do we go on?" Big Lars scratched his head and stared in bewilderment at the puzzling maze. But Gertrude was not baffled. On two webbed feet, she plodded decisively forward. With her instinctive sense of direction, she boldly entered the maze, struck surely between two towering boulders, and disappeared from sight. The explorers held back a moment until Lars, confident of his beloved pet's proven powers, struck out behind her. On between the eerie, tall boulders marched Gertrude. Never for a moment did she hesitate, picking her way left and then right, as if guided by some private radar. "Aren't we making a circle?" questioned Cindy after a few moments. She stopped uncertainly. "Gertrude knows best," replied Big Lars, shaking his corn blonde hair to express confidence in his guiding pet. Alec tapped a large boulder nearby and then ran his palm over its rough surface. Volcanic, he concluded. The professor smiled happily. His geology lessons had not been wasted on Alec. The boulders were undoubtedly of volcanic origin. In fact, the whole underground section through which they were wandering showed ample evidence of the presence of active volcanoes. A steamy warmth fostered the growth of green and brown lichen on the boulders, and with a satisfied quacking, Gertrude paused momentarily to nibble at the soft rock plants. "Maybe we should eat too," Cindy suggested. "Honestly, you men just don't understand the need for regular eating hours." The three were much too hungry to argue. Lars took a small field stove from his pack and with his lighter started a fire. Soon, Cindy's mushroom soup was simmering in the pot on the stove. "Oh, luckily we didn't depend on finding firewood down here for our cooking," said Alec, with a chuckle as he poured the soup into bowls. "Well," replied the professor between spoonfuls of the delicious soup, "there's just no telling what we might find down here. Underground trees wouldn't be the most surprising thing that we might find." "Cindy make good soup," Lars exclaimed heartily, offering his bowl for a refill. Cindy poured the last of the dark brown soup for him. She glowed with pride at her enjoyment of her underground cooking. "Imagine, Lars," she said, "what I could do in a real kitchen." Big Lars' huge hand patted her gently on the shoulder. Then he rose, put on his pack, and signaled the others to continue their march toward the distant, elusive goal, the center of the earth. In a few moments, Gertrude flapped her wings excitedly. She was standing between two boulders, a few yards ahead of Big Lars. "Look!" exclaimed the giant guide. The boulder maze had ended. Gertrude had brought them out safely. Ahead, the ground sloped sharply downward. It was as smooth as glass and as black as coal. "Hardened lava," sighed Lindenbrook. "It will be like trying to climb on a mirror." "Yeah," agreed Lars. "But we do." Lars looked around until he found a hard rock a foot long and rounded at its top. Using this as a hammer, the guide began slowly to chop footholes in the lava and make a cautious descent. His hammering blows echoed in the vast cavern they were entering. Step by step, the others followed Lars downward. Cindy glanced upward. Long, thin, pale stalactites hung down from the roof. Suddenly, her face froze in fear. Pointing with a trembling hand, she gasped, "Look there!" Join me next time as we read Chapter 3, Attacked. thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you next time for Chapter 3. Have a great day, or night, wherever you may be.